I want to try to, through words, which is very difficult to do, to try to make you see a little bit of what I see. It's if you watch the previous video where I talk about eating an apple, right? Where if you've tasted an apple and you're trying to tell somebody who's never tasted an apple what an apple tastes like, by using words, you're never going to quite encapsulate the experience of tasting an apple. Because there's just no way of having that experience without first-hand a priori experience. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do right now. If you haven't tasted this apple of self-realization, of spiritual awakening, I'm going to try to, through words, just guide you on, and hopefully this brief guidance will help. Will create a aha moment, right? Like you go, wow, okay, I get that. That's a deepening. I want to get you deeper now. And we're gonna start keeping, if you followed my videos and the evolution, it's this, I've started posting these videos about a month ago, a little bit more. And it's beautiful to see how it's touching so many people. So it's doing its job. Imagine the experience. So now let's start. Imagine that everything is water. I mean everything, like everything is water everywhere. Everything you ever thought of, everything, just water. Let's say the entire reality is just water. But there is a surface to this water. The surface to the water is the phenomenal manifestation of the divine. The phenomenal manifestation of the divine existence. This is all divinity. This is all happening spontaneously. It's a divine, beautiful play. And you're orchestrating the whole thing. It's impossible to realize this with your mind, so don't try. Once you wake up, it's like immediately seen. So on the superficial level, imagine everything is water. You have all of these waves, right? That's to make it a little more concrete. Imagine the Pacific Ocean, all of the waves in the Pacific Ocean. Are there two waves on the Pacific Ocean, or two waves in the Pacific Ocean that are identical in shape, in form, and in movement? Yes or no? Of course not. They're always changing, they're always moving. The wave, here's the water, the wave comes from the water, it has an evolution, right? Or it goes across the Pacific Ocean and then it starts to crumble and it goes back into the water. So the wave comes from the water, it's made of water, and it goes back to water. You are made of pure conscious awareness. You arise out of pure conscious awareness. You are pure conscious You are pure conscious awareness the entire time, your entire existence. And this is a heavy one, but keep an open mind, for eternity. This is not, this conscious awareness is formless, and therefore it was never born and it will never die. How can something that doesn't have a form per se have a birth and a death? This body has a form. This body was born and will die, but you're not your body. The quickest way to know that is that you've been witnessing the changes of this body your entire life, but there's one thing that stayed constant. That constant is you. That's pure conscious presence awareness, which is timeless, boundless, eternal, has no beginning or end, has no birth or death. So let's go to this wave. Imagine these waves, right? So these little waves on the Pacific Ocean is like all of the people around the world. We all look different. There are no two that are exactly the same. But we are all conscious presence awareness. The key is that there is no boundary between me and you. If you're watching this right now, the only separation that exists is your mental construct. When you are void of mental constructs and conditioning, you see through the whole thing, it all collapses, and then you realize there's just this source, for lack of a better word. So let's go back to the wave analogy. The waves, imagine the wave comes out of the Pacific Ocean. Now, the only reason the wave knows that it is an individual is because it is phenomenally surfaced for a very limited amount of time. It's a phenomenal apparition, okay? And then it compares itself. So imagine if we are all these waves, right? There's billions of waves around the planet. There's billions of people. There's 8 billion people, right? We're comparing ourselves to the other. Taller, shorter, bigger, smaller, this race, this ethnicity, this gender. Waves like waves. There's no two waves that are exactly alike. But what are all the waves made from? They're made from water. The crazy thing is when they are surfacing as a phenomena, they start to discriminate. Oh, this wave is bigger than me. Or the wave behind me is bigger than me. And it starts to go into neurotic thinking, just like we do. We're programmed to do that. You're not born with that. And all of that discrimination, little do we know, the waves are all made of the same. It's all water. What are you discriminating? There's no difference. It's extremely superficial. The body is every second this is changing. There's no constant. And it's doing it by itself, by the way. You don't have to change. Are you beating your heart? Are you breathing? Like during the last 2 minutes, are you focusing on your breath or are you listening? You're listening probably, hopefully. Your heart, do you need to make your heart beat? No, it beats by itself. All of the billions of cells that are going and changing in your body right now, do you have to orchestrate that? Do you have to be in charge of that? No, it happens by itself. That analogy or that thing that happens all by itself is the same thing that's happening now. When you awaken spiritually, you see that the whole play is itself organic and it's happening by itself. I'm doing like this with my hands right now. I'm just watching this. When you spiritually awake, it's like I'm not forcing anything anymore. It's a constant flow and a constant surrender. You're surrendering every moment with no effort. This is an effortless existence. The more effort you try to put into things, the harder it becomes. Alan Watts said, quote, "Muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone." Muddy water, dirty water, if it was rattled up, if it was shaken up in, let's say, a river, the dirt surfaces, the water goes from clear, it goes to murky, it goes to dark. If you keep playing with the water, it's just going to keep becoming muddy and dark. Leave it alone. Wait a little bit. The mud will settle. The water will become clear again. So in other words, this is a beautiful analogy for the more effort that you do and the less you surrender to life, the more difficult it becomes to see clearly. So that water, let's keep talking about water, because water is a central theme in Taoism. Lao Tzu, Tao Te Ching, the flow of life. Think about water, how it flows, right? I think Bruce Lee also had a lot to say about water. So for example, if you take water, it only takes shape based on its manipulation. So if you have a bowl of water, immediately when you put it into a cup, it takes the shape of the cup. But in essence, it is shapeless. You can also put your fingers through water. You can't touch it. You can't grab water and hold on to it. It will go out of your fingers. In fact, Ramesh Balsekar, a beautiful non-dualist, said, "The river does not push itself down to the ocean. It simply moves with the current. And the current is what takes it to its destination. That current is the flow of life. When you surrender, when you just allow things to be, you get into the flow state. And then what happens is, it doesn't mean that mind will automatically stop. You go from the object to the subject. You become the passive witness, the observer of everything. And when you are the observer of everything, that's wherein your true power lies. So think about a river going down. Think about your river is a life, yeah? There is a natural current from the mountains that will take it naturally. You don't have to force the river to go down to the ocean. Don't force it. In fact, if you try to manipulate that river, so for example, let's say that you cut a tree and you put it in front of that river that's flowing. It's still going to flow down, but it has an obstacle. It will just have to go around that tree. It creates an obstacle. It creates resistance. It's a beautiful analogy. If you try to go against the flow of life, that means you are resisting the flow of life. Understand that that resistance comes from the false assumption that you are a separate individual, a little me. That is this body, that is this mind. You have been programmed to believe that. That is not true. You need to find that out for yourself. Why? Because when you do, it's mind-blowing. That's a huge awakening right there. That makes you realize things that possibly for your entire life. And that's why for me, when that first realization hit, out of many realizations, that's one of the first realizations I had many years ago. It's like, wow, it's incredible. That sets you free. You think freedom is in what you do and what you can say? Freedom is in what you are. Once you know that you are free, whatever you do or say will come out of that freedom, will come out of that source. And that source is permanent, and that source is who you are. I wanted to make this short today. Have a beautiful day. Bless you.